Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, it is morning here. We are in Auckland, New Zealand. I am Pete Ward. You're on the Pete Ward Show on Pete Ward TV, brought to you by Business and Beyond. Welcome, everybody. Today I'm going to be delving into episode 12, which is all about hot leads. Now, that sounds exciting. It is, and I'm going to talk about various ways you can. Well, I've got 3 different ways that you can find your hot leads straight away, sitting at your fingertips. You may not even know that they exist in those places, but they are sitting there. Now, if you've watched number 1 video in this whole series of episodes, you'll know that it's all about the boat theory. And what my boat theory is all about, I'm not going to go into it now, watch the video, but it's essentially going fishing for fish to extract the maximum value out of them when you hook them and bring them back into your website or onto your boat. So that's why I call it the boat theory. So your boat is your website, and the places you go fishing are in social media. And so when you're out there doing that, that's marketing. And when you're working on extracting the value of them and converting them, that is all about sales. So it's connecting marketing to sales by saying, okay, cool, let's go marketing. We know we don't make sales on social media. You need to bring them back somewhere. You can either bring them into real life, and if you have an event or a store or retail store, it still works that way, but you want to bring them from out in these social media places all the way back to find out more on your website. And there's a really good reason why you want them anywhere near your website. You want them there, and I will tell you why, and I'll tell you all about that. So when I get into it. Okay, so leads. Not all leads are created equal. Okay, so leads in the top of your sales funnel. Everyone knows about. They've heard of the sales funnel. You know, it's a funnel. It's like this, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller as you head down down the funnel, because basically people fall off or out of your funnel. They basically, leave for their own volition, or they find a reason why they don't want to purchase from you. The purchase is obviously at the bottom of the funnel. I'm not going to draw it today. I have done other episodes where I do talk about the funnel, so have a look through my through all of my episodes and find the one on the sales funnel. I believe it was called Sales Funnel Easy as Simple as 1, 2, 3, and as easy as ABC. So have a look at that, and it steps you through how that content can be used to attract people into your sales funnel and get them all the way down towards the purchase and hopefully a repeat customer. And I think there is also a video you could watch on the customer journey, which takes people through the journey of people not knowing about you and finding out about your solution, finding out that they could use your solution, and then using your solution. So there's a whole customer journey video there for you to watch as well. But back to the hot leads. Okay, there's various ways you can go about finding leads. Now, there's the long way to do things, and one of the long ways, and it's a very good way, is of course networking. So you can attend networking groups. You can do that speed dating networking type events. You can do a networking group. I personally belong to a BNI group in the morning, so shout out to BNI. And we there's my little badge there that tells I got from Honolulu when we went over to Global Convention. Well worth going to. Absolutely game changer for my business. Networking groups work extremely well, but they work as much as you put into them. So one of the key catch phrases of BNI is givers gain. So the more you put in, the more you get back out, which I thoroughly agree with, and I like it. And what I like about networking groups like the one that I'm in is that it is about doing business in the room and beyond the room as well. So you basically are there not just to have a little social club in the morning, not just have breakfast and a coffee. You actually are there to work out how you can refer anyone you come across to somebody in the room, or they can work out how to refer you. So essentially it's everyone the business networking group usually has some kind of time to give a pitch, and in that pitch, that's the time where you give everyone clues on what leads you're actually looking for. So that can work in the long run. So it's a long game, and it's very worthwhile doing. So yes, please consider it. Just pick a group, find some people you like, and start doing business with them. It doesn't have to be BNI. I just happen to like BNI. It suits my lifestyle, and it suits who I am and how I want to do my business. So that's one of the long ones. Now, the other is content creation. Content creation, doing videos, putting up, you can even dabble into paid advertising if you want, but the long way of posting every day on social media, posting, joining groups, talking to, someone recommends, someone says, hey, I need a mortgage broker for a first-time mortgage. Do you know anyone? And you jump in and go, yes, I do know somebody, blah, blah, blah. Or if it's you refer yourself and you go, yes, I can help you, DM me or PM me or however you want to do it, however the group lets you connect. And you can do it that way, so you can chase down the leads that way. You can chase them down by posting, as I said, constantly posting. You might be on LinkedIn and you're giving out advice and you're writing articles and somebody asks the questions and you jump in and you answer the questions and that helps your rankings. Okay, so that's another long game. So it's an absolute must, and you certainly need to be looking at doing some kind of content strategy on social media platforms. Again, it goes back to my boat theory. Work out where your fish are, when the fish are there. Well, first of all, who they are. Who are the fish? Who are you looking for? Who are you trying to connect to? Who are you trying to hook? And who is your ideal customer? You work out which platforms they're on, which is the different places you can go fishing. And then, of course, you've got to think like a fish. So you've got to think, what bait do the fish want? Not, I've got a really good thing I want to tell everyone about. Okay, that's really cool, but does it matter to the fish? So think like a fish, not a fisherman. So you're going to sit there and you're going to go, okay, what does that fish want to eat? I'm going to give it to them, hook them, and then reel them in. So what you're doing is reeling all of this fish in. Okay, but that's the long game, okay? You've got to be committed. Well, you are committed to your business, but you've got to be committed to a content strategy, and you've got to keep doing it. Today, I want to talk about hot leads that are sitting right at your fingertips, right in front of you. Okay, so there's three places hot leads turn up from. And I'm just going to swap over to my trusty paper, my overheads. Okay, so there's three places. Okay, let's just head down here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. The first place that they are going to turn up from is a list-based. What does this mean? Just going to move my microphone over a little bit there so I can access the paper better. Okay, so list-based. Okay, so hot leads. Should have done that in red because then it would be hot, red hot. Okay, so you got list base. Okay, this is your database. Okay, DB stands for database. This is your database of email addresses. Why is this important? It sounds like everyone talks about this. Every marketer, everyone talks about it. Some marketers have their whole career or their whole business just based around helping you get people on the mailing list. I prefer to think about what can you do with them once they're on the database. So yes, absolutely 100% important to get them on the database. How you do it, you must be very scrupulous now. You must sign or tick that you agree to the data controller and data use policies of social media platforms. What that means essentially is you are only collecting those emails for a specific purpose, which is just for you and just to market them, your services. You can't just get a whole lot of people that you got from somewhere and then just spam them with all of your stuff. Or give them away or sell them to somebody else. That's not okay. So you got a list base, you've got a database, right? So you've got emails on this list. That's great. Put them in a CSV file. What do you do with them next? Might come back to that of what you do with them next, because I'm going to show you where these lists or these other places for the hot leads are, and then we'll talk about what you can do with them. Okay, so number 2 is video views. Now this is super important because you are in a visual medium with all of these social media platforms. Video works like absolutely 100%. You can easily Google the stats about how well video works. Something like 86% more traffic from a video and all sorts of things. The sales go through the roof. There's all sorts of stats out there. It changes all the time. Look it up. But the main thing is that video actually does help drive sales, which is awesome. And sales come from hot leads. And so what we need to do there is, once again, I will explain what to do with the video views and how to get the video views and all that sort of stuff. But I'm going to come back to that after I talk about the third one. And the third one is pixel-based tracking. Okay, excellent. Now, what does this mean? This means that all of these very fancy places like Facebook and Google and LinkedIn and TikTok, they all give you the opportunity to track what people are doing through your website. So they give you a little bit of code. It's they say some JavaScript code, and it's based around what's called a pixel. Now, a pixel is basically a transparent little 1x1 pixel that sits in your pages, every single page on your website, but the code behind it tracks what people do with those pages as they load them, click on things, purchase, add to cart, abandon cart, jump from page to page. You know, Google Analytics. You've heard of Google Analytics. Hopefully you've got it in your website. There's various things to do, but one of them is Google Analytics. All right, so you need that in there. One of the best ways to do that is with a tool called Google Tag Manager. Now, Google Tag Manager, it's free to use, and you basically you take the code that they give you and you use the Tag Manager to put a tag into your website, which does the same thing as the pixel. So Facebook uses a pixel. You do that. You put a pixel with the code of the number of the pixel, so that it links it back to Facebook Meta. LinkedIn also does the same thing. You can get the code from LinkedIn and put that into your website, so you can basically track what's going on. So you're tracking everything that's happening on your website using this pixel-based tracking methods, because once you've done that, then you can do something with it, which was where I was going to come back and start telling you what you can actually do, which is very exciting. Now the good thing about using Google Tag Manager is that you can load in a lot of extra tags in there. Basically, it's from putting this one overarching tag, container tag name. You know, you use that. It usually starts like random letters that they have there. You load that in there, and then basically you can add in other tags on top. Now, one of the other tags to load in there is called it's a conversion tracking tag. And what that means is that's what Google uses when you want to serve up an ad to someone as a retargeted ad. Someone does something on your website, and then you want to serve up an ad to them later when they go around the internet. Okay, retargeting or remarketing. You use that conversion tag. Now, without linking them together properly, they're just going to come, they're going to do some stuff on your website, and then they're gone, but you can't follow them. So there's a lot of setup involved. If you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, so you can get in touch with me. I can put you in touch with somebody who does that setup for you. And my email address, pete@peteward.tv. Okay, my website is peteward.tv. Okay, so you can get in contact with me, or we can look at what's missing and what you need in there to track, so you can choose the Facebook pixel and the Meta. Now, Facebook also needs extra events. Once you've got the pixel doing its thing, you need to track the actual events. So you use various tools that Facebook give you. They're all free to use, that you load in the extra bits so that you know you can track those events. Like I mentioned, add to cart, abandon cart, you know, obviously page views are the obvious one that happens every time, but those extra things, purchase. So if someone purchases something, then that's great. Or someone doesn't purchase something, you can send them a coupon code going, hey, just noticed you were looking at XYZ, here's 15% off if you use this code right now. So that's the things you can do. So over here, you've got your list-based database. Okay, what you do is you load this into a CSV file. Now, CSV file is called a comma separated values file, and all it is a very simple text file, and it's item in the file. Okay, and when a program uses it, it separates them by comma. So when you load that into, for example, we're going to load that into Meta, basically Facebook. Okay, so you upload that file into Meta in the background as a custom audience. All right, so custom. So you're going to make a custom audience out of that file. So if that is a name and then that is an email address, then that email address is going to be added into this custom file in Facebook. Now, it all gets hashed, encrypted, so Facebook can't see it, you can't see it, but it knows, the algorithm knows that that person's email address. They go away and they match. They go through and they find all of the people with that email address if they use the same email address in this database that you have legitimately harvested from your own place of doing business, or business cards. You meet people and you can say, hey, can I send you newsletters, things like that. So that's cool. So that's what you do with your list-based stuff, is you make custom audiences. Now, I mentioned Facebook. Google does the same thing. You can make custom audiences in Google, and I do think LinkedIn does it as well, so you can load a custom audience based off your list. Okay, now the reason they're hot leads is because they've interacted with your business already. They're either on your customer list, there's someone you met who's interested enough to give a business card to you, they are someone who has signed up to your newsletter. They've opened maybe your newsletter. If you can track the links of the newsletter, you can look in there. You can actually segment some of the things you can send to people based on whether they have or haven't clicked any of the links in your newsletter. So you can actually set up all these custom little things so you can send another newsletter to people who did click the links and open it and go, oh, yep, they're interested, because you know they're interested, right? So hot lead, okay? The people who just literally didn't open it and left it in their inbox, they are not hot leads because they are not really interested. They might be on the list, but they are not hot leads. They are maybe lukewarm leads. You might have to do something else to them. Think about that. Think about, how am I going to take some of these leads or list-based people on here? How am I going to do something to warm them up? So that's your homework. Have a think about that. Now, the good thing is, once you've made this custom audience in these places, let's just pick Facebook, Meta, for example, now you can serve advertising to them. Simple as that. You can basically say, hey, here is an ad because you're now in my audience. They don't know necessarily how they got in your audience. That doesn't matter. It's all transparent. It's all following the rules. It's all how it works. That's okay. But that's where your hot leads come from your list based. Now, video views. Very, very, very similar. So obviously you're watching a video now, so all of the views we get. Now, we personally have done videos that have had on YouTube over 365,000 views. That's pretty good, I think. It's not 1.3 million, but that doesn't matter because it's still 365 views that we can do something with. Now, we can go through and total up all of the number of these views from all of the videos. Okay, and of course, what are we going to do then? We're going to make a custom audience. Okay, now this custom audience is about making somewhere along the line, make a decision about how much percentage you want to choose. Obviously, right down here, somebody scrolls past on their phone and basically they see your video, it plays for 3 seconds because they weren't fast enough to click. Okay, that's way down here. Don't bother. Okay. This one, we're sitting there, we're saying 50% of a video watch. So if you've got a 1 minute video, that means they watched 30 seconds. Okay, so now you can start to think, all right, they're interested in my stuff because they are interested. They're watching it. So you can also look at it and go, well, maybe 30% could be a good number, or you could go for even more. Going all the way to 100% is probably getting too hardcore because a lot of people actually drop off. It's called the hockey stick when you look at it. Everyone starts there, and as they watch the video over time, they drop off. Okay, so pick somewhere that's valid. Okay, and when I say valid, in the middle here somewhere, because then if they've watched for that long, they're very interested. Okay, so you pick a figure and you build all of your videos together into a single custom audience. And so that way, what you can do, of course, is pick some of your best videos and then spend money at the top of the funnel. So I'm going to go top of funnel, get more views. So if you've got a custom audience of combined views down here, at some stage, spend money on the top videos, because then that increases your hot leads because they have watched your video. You know they're hot because they're interested. They've watched quite a bit of the percentage of the video, and then you can target them with advertising. Of course, that's what you do, or some kind of offer or anything like that. Right, so there's your second lot of hot leads. Your third lot of hot leads, I did spend a bit of time talking about the pixels and tracking. It's very, very obvious what's going on here is, of course, you make a custom audience. Okay, and in this case, it's not based on an email address. It's not based on the video views. It's based on engagement. Okay, so you can actually go through your website when you're making this custom audience. You can say someone who came to my website and looked at my website, right? So page views. So that's the events I was talking about before. Okay, right, that's going to get a whole lot of people. That's fine. It's probably a little bit broad, a little bit wide. So you want to narrow it down a little bit. You can do all sorts of things with this tracking, okay? You can, in LinkedIn, I've personally done, an audience based on job role of who basically came to the website. So we took that and also list base and said, give me job roles, send the ad to that job role, because they were the decision makers that the client was looking for to connect with. So they were CFOs, basically. So anyone in that, or accountant, or any of that kind of level, you use these custom audiences to chase the people you want, because they will be the hot leads. There's no point in just putting advertising on just to get page views, anyone who came to your website, because they might have come and looked at the homepage and gone, oh, this is pretty stink. It's not what I wanted. That's not who I was looking for. Oh, blah, 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 search. Oh, no. Okay, so don't just randomly spend all your money just targeting the page views because they're not hot enough. So what you need to do is drill down into various pages. Now, obviously, products. If people are looking particular products, you can then put them into that audience because they are interested in what you've got to offer. Okay, so you might sell dog water bowls. If they came specifically and looked at your dog water bowl page and maybe a couple of other pages on either side, they might have looked for a water container as well, and then maybe a leash, then consider putting all of those people into that custom audience because they are hot. They are looking specifically at water bowls. You know they are because your pixel data tracking told you they were, or your Google Analytics. You've got Google Analytics. You need to get in there and find out how to segment your audiences in there. So you've got products, obviously, like I said, the shop. You might have a landing page on an offer. Okay, and this is where you can do things like, okay, purchase, add to cart. I'm just going to go call it add to cart. And now over here, purchase, and also not purchased. Why is this important? So basically you can build a custom audience and you can exclude people, right? So if you've got a landing page of an event coming up, right? So I'll just move that paper up so you can see the bottom. Excellent. Okay, so down here we've got no purchase and add to cart. Okay, so if you've got an event, for example, on a landing page, right? And on that landing page, people go to that landing page and you go, great, right? I'm going to target everyone who went to the landing page. That's cool. Seems reasonable, okay? But if you're selling tickets and they already purchased the ticket, if they went straight to purchase, or add to cart and then purchase, okay, then you still serve them up the landing page saying, hey, come and get tickets. Well, they might get a little bit annoyed. And also you're wasting your money because you don't need them to add to cart and you don't need them to purchase anymore because they already have. So you can actually exclude them and say, anyone who did purchase, don't put them in that custom audience. That makes sense? And then, of course, you've got the over here with the no purchase. They added to cart, they didn't purchase. Then you can specifically set up one custom audience just for those people. So you don't have to worry about them doing all of this again. Literally just send them targeted an ad with an offer, basically because they were so close, they added to cart, they didn't purchase. So give them another incentive to actually make the purchase and give them something, right? So you know they're a hot lead because they got all the way to add to cart. Now, something like 70% of all add to carts are abandoned. 70%. Only 30% of people that add to cart follow through on their purchase. So that's 70% of people adding to cart right now on the internet are going to go, oh yeah, I was just looking anyway. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Adding to cart is still a hot lead. Adding to cart is basically based off your pixel tracking data. You know they were interested enough to put it into the cart. They might have been looking for the price, the final price. They might have been looking at shipping. They might have gone, I want to buy these things. Do I get free shipping if I spend over $100? You know, that kind of thing. And they put it in there and it comes to $99 and they don't get their free shipping. So they go, oh, I'll go and buy it somewhere else where I get free shipping. So they're looking actively for your products and they need to be massaged into making that purchase. So there is our 3 places for hot leads that are sitting right there that you have right now on your fingertip, at your fingertips, right? You have list-based hot leads. You've got a database. Not if you don't have a database of leads, email addresses, please get one. Spend some money and some time on this. Absolutely. Big ticks, lots of ticks, okay? That's something you can do. And it doesn't take much. Maybe if you haven't got a mailing list yet, sign up for a free trial, get onto it, and get your web people to add it into your website. But give them value. Give them something of value. Send the newsletter out at least once a month. One month. Monthly newsletter is probably enough if you're just starting out. You don't have to get too carried away. Don't think, oh my God, I've got to send a newsletter every week. You don't, because people will get sick of you anyway. So list-based, build your list. Very, very, very important. And then, of course, I've shown you what you can do with it. Video views, same thing. Same thing. Big ticks up here, big ticks. Top of the funnel, spend money on getting video views, okay? And then you combine them into a custom audience. So the more views you have, the longer percentage of people that watched, the better the lead, the hotter the lead, because they are interested. If you've got some FAQ videos on your website, and then you can see in the background, maybe they're hosted on Vimeo or YouTube, you can see in the background that people are actually watching, 3/4 of the thing all the way through almost, because they want to know the answers to the questions they have. They are interested in your business. That is a hot lead because they have watched that video to find the answer about whatever it is you're doing. So yes, FAQ videos, absolutely awesome. And posting them natively onto social media, definitely do that. I heard the other day, interestingly enough, TikTok is now the #1 search engine, overtaking Google. So how about that? Because Google was the #1 search engine, then it was YouTube. Because in YouTube, people are going onto YouTube to find the answer. They literally are going, show me a video on how to, string a guitar. So if you have a video, how to string a guitar, boom, or a nylon guitar. How do I do a nylon, because they do that extra little knots in the thing. Do it right. Okay, so think about topics in your videos. I'm getting a little bit more excited the more I think about it. Type of videos that you want that people are going to be searching for, and then of course the percentage, and then you build the custom audiences, but you must have the tracking, which is your third place for the hot leads, because when they watch the video views on your website, you need to know that they did, so you need to be tracking it. So at the very least, get a Facebook pixel and Google Analytics, but get what's called Google Tag Manager as well, so you can add lots and lots and lots of things in there and track everything that people are doing. And then of course, once you've tracked them, then you can do something with that tracking by building up your custom audiences. And of course, I haven't talked about lookalike audiences yet. You can build what's called a lookalike audience based on your custom audience, and for anywhere from usually from 1% to 10% variance or difference in the audience makeup, demographics, etc., etc. You can let Facebook, for example, Meta, go and find, YouTube does it too, and I believe LinkedIn, you can go and they will go and find people who look like the people you started with in your custom audience. So these are real people. These are real people watching, and these are real people interacting with you. And then on top of that, these platforms will let you find other people based on these people and add them to a lookalike audience. So basically then you can target them, and then usually what you would do is geographically assign just an area. So for instance, you don't want to target the whole of the world because then you're just wasting your money. If you only do something in Auckland, so you wouldn't even bother with Dunedin or Christchurch, you don't just do New Zealand, you would geographically just target the lookalike audience down to the area that you want. So you would go in there and go, I just want Auckland within 40 miles of the centre or whatever, however it lets you change the percentage of the circle until you get it exactly right. So that's what you do with your hot leads once you've got them. But those are where 3 places right now that your hot leads are sitting waiting for you to do something with. And if you want a plan on how to do that, then I can help you with that. I will have a plan available. You can book a time with me, or I will have a course very soon on that, and we'll do it together. We'll work through your plan. We'll find out what's missing, what you don't have, what you need to put together to make that all happen, and then we can look at it. Now, a great example. I'm going to finish up today with a great example. I'll just take a little bit of water. So today, I might come back to #1. So here's a great example to finish up today. It's you're watching Pete Ward on the Pete Ward Show on Pete Ward TV, brought to you by Business and Beyond. I had a client who I took through these hot leads with them, and we sat down and we worked out, had a database of 1,700 people. That's awesome. We went on to Meta, Facebook and Instagram. I loaded up a single ad, one ad, and it was for an event coming up. And so we targeted the database of people, and then we made from those 1,700 a don't recall the lookalike audience that we made, but we made a lookalike audience as well from those 1,700 people on Facebook. One person saw the ad. Wait, I need to tell you, we only spent $30 on it because the event was in a week and a half and it was a trade show. Come down and see us at the show. One person saw it. He rang the company and said, I need your services. I saw your ad on Facebook and I realized that I need you. I need to work with you. That's awesome. That's fantastic. And you know why? Because the value of that sale was $2,000. So from $30 from one ad based on a hot list audience leads turned $30 on Facebook into a $2,000 value sale, which will take, the $2,000 is across the year for their services by the time they get through. So it's 12 months worth of that. Still, that's the return on ad spend. I believe it's 66. It's just over 66.66 times return on the ad spend. So this $30 is 66.66666 times returned in the $2,000 value sale. If that's not capitalizing on hot leads the smart way, I don't know what else I can say there. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So it absolutely works. Look, even if your return on investment is 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, that's really, really good as well. But 66.66666 return on investment. So have a think about it. See whether you've got a list. If you have a list, you're not quite sure where to do it. If you don't know where to load it in Facebook, I will tell you. Get in touch with me, Pete at peteward.tv, and my website is peteward.tv. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you got something out of that. Have a fabulous day. I am going to head off now and go get those hot leads, you good thing. And Pete's out.